stories that come from our own lives that are true and are um, authentic, and we're trying to connect. So I'm very grateful personally that Dr. Moore has shown an interest in this activity. It's something I've had on my mind for years, and we've finally found the time to do it. I am super excited.
Okay. So, let me know when you're ready. Okay. So, I'm going to use the prompt, describe a first in your life. And I think that's prompt number 4 or 5 on there. I'm gonna describe a time, tell you the story of a time of when I first thought I could actually die. Okay, so I was living in England at the time. I was going to school. This was my second time studying in England. I was at Oxford, yes, and I had gotten one master's there, and then my father died in the middle of that, and so I went back home, and I finally was getting back on track for my doctoral work at Oxford. I was really happy. I would spend 8 beautiful hours a day in the Bodleian, and I was in heaven because independent research on my topic of Shakespeare in the 19th century was just about all that I loved, right? So it was the life of a monastic scholar practically, because all I did was work, and then I would come back to my little room in Somerville College, and get something to eat, and then watch something on my laptop. Okay, but it was an okay life, and I loved it. Yeah. I worked for the college administration. So sometimes I did like secretarial work on the weekends, like filing. And one Saturday in February, I was filing. And it was a Saturday morning around 10 a.m. I had a bunch of filing to do. I didn't mind it. I thought it was actually fun to do like application records and student records, and I was alone. No one bothered me. They gave me a huge stack, and I just filed it. All of a sudden, when I was filing and putting something into a hanging folder, I felt this rush of pain and discomfort on the whole right side of my head. And it didn't go away. It was like the big rush happened, and then it was there. And I thought to myself, oh my God, is this a stroke? It was unilateral. I didn't know what was happening. I thought, it'll probably just dissipate in a few minutes. And so I put the filing down, and then I just started to like get up and walk around a little. It wasn't going away. As a matter of fact, it was just present on this one side of my face. And then I realized that both my arms were starting to, I was losing feeling. I was getting these weird sensations up and down my hands and arms. And then both arms. Wow. And then I felt some weirdness in my jaw, it was like tightening, and I couldn't open it. And I thought, okay, what's happening? I'm alone. Right. I know that there is a doctor that comes on campus every Saturday morning. I thought, I'm just going to quickly go down there and just ask her, what's going on? So I go down to her, and luckily she was available. And I said, look, I don't know if this is anything, but this just happened to me. And she's like, well, she took my vitals. My blood pressure was a little elevated because I was upset. My heart was fine. And she's like, I don't really see anything disturbing. Maybe it's, just drink some water. And I was like, okay.
Keep calm and carry on.
And and so like, okay, yeah, I'm probably just making something out of nothing. And so I did some laundry that day, and just doing some stuff because it was a Saturday. And then about Saturday around 5 o'clock in the evening, it was very present, and I thought, I cannot feel things in my hands. And then I started to get very anxious. My anxiety took over. And then I went to the hospital because Radcliffe Hospital is right nearby Somerville College. And so literally I just walked in and said, look, I don't know what's happening here.
What time was this roughly?
This was now like around 7 p.m. And I was like, I need some help. I need some help. I don't know. I'm a dumb American. I don't know. I don't know how this works. I go to Somerville. It's right down there. Can you help me? And they were very nice. But this hospital was straight out of Dickens. Like the wards and like the wireframe beds and it was. I mean, I don't know. I should have been home in the 19th century, but it was scary to me. It looked positively ghastly to be in there. So they took my vitals again. My blood pressure was 150 over 100. I was unbelievably upset. They didn't really think anything was happening, except that they would need further information like an MRA or an MRI to see if this was a neurological event. Obviously, I passed all the do you have a stroke symptoms. Like can you do you have strength? I never lost strength. I just had weird feelings.
You're in your 20s, right?
I'm in my late 20s. So I passed the stroke test, thank God. They didn't admit me. They sent me back with some sleeping pills. They sent me back with some sleeping pills and like, come back the next day. And I did. And so I finally got diagnostic testing. I had my artery in my vertebrae in my neck on the right side completely dissected. It just spontaneously dissected.
It's a hemorrhage, right?
Yeah, and thankfully, I never did lose blood to my brain. So, I mean, I didn't have an aneurysm. I didn't have a stroke. But what happens in that case is that it messed up everything to do with, you have a lot of nerves going into your neck there, as far as like stuff that travels down to your hands and arms. And of course, there's a whole vascular event like migraines, like how I was feeling it in my face and in my eye and everything. So it was a very scary time because I was alone and no family. The secretary of the college, who's like the principal, the principal of the college, she, Norma McManaway, I'll never forget. She went with me to all of the tests. She was there with me. She was wonderful. And I need to say that being an American at a wonderful teaching hospital in Oxford was wonderful because I was their first walking case of vertebral artery dissection, and they loved it. They were like, I was a curiosity.
What's the first word there again?
Vertebral.
Vertebral.
Yeah, vertebral artery dissection.
Yeah. Wow.
I was the first walking case, and they were very curious about me, which is fine. I'm a teacher. I know, like, come on in, everyone, look at me. Yeah. And so I was with people in the hospital that were like who have neurological difficulties like MS. Yeah. And they weren't sure how to do it. The British doctors decided to treat the symptoms. So I was on some like anti-seizure medication. Oh. But here's the thing: I couldn't do any work. Yeah. And
was thinking even hard? Like,
yeah.
Thinking about the text.
Getting up in the morning, I could think about maybe trying to do some work, but then everything, all those sensations, all that pain would come back, and I couldn't do anything. So I decided I would go home, and my doctor told me that I could not fly because the pressure of air travel on veins and arteries they just didn't know whether it would do anything. So I had to take the QE2 home. I had to take a boat home, like on the Cunard line, a giant ship.
Oh my God.
6 days, and everyone else on that dumb ship was there pleasure cruising, on their transatlantic, transatlantic voyage.
You're just miserable.
I am miserable. I am given medication to try to calm me down. I hate it because I don't feel involved with reality. And it was a constant feeling that I was going to die every step of the way. Like I was going to die at sea, or I was going to die in the hospital. And the actual sight of sailing into New York Harbor, which I don't think many people have that experience of traveling to the United States via boat and coming into New York Harbor and seeing the Statue of Liberty was incredible to me. It was 5 a.m. that morning, and they made an announcement over the loudspeaker to say, if you want to come see this, do this now, because we're coming in, to the harbor. And what a sight it was, because to me, I can only imagine what my immigrant family felt like. Oh my God, finally we're here. For me, it was all health related, and all anxiety about my health and I'm going to die. But somehow, coming into the harbor, seeing the Statue of Liberty, knowing that, in a few hours I would be disembarking and I would be seeing my family. And for me, that was all I could think about, because somehow I knew I would be safe. Even if I would die with them, I would be somehow, someone would take care of me in that way. So really, that health scare when I was at Oxford and getting home really was a first for me, because I literally thought I was going to die.
Wow.
And that's my story.
Thank you. That's so good.
I wonder how long that
I'm
was.
just curious. Well, you said so you got.
So that was 13 minutes story.
New York Harbor at 5 a.m. So the sun's coming up.
Sun's coming up. What a beautiful
and was
sight.
that March?
It was April.
Wow. So it was 2 months you were dealing with this. Holy moly.
Yep.
And I guess you weren't able to read a book or anything, right?
No.
So that's 6 days. You just
6 days.
Sleeping, staring into space.
6 days in the cabin, getting seasick. Yeah, it was very difficult. And also, just incidentally, it was the first crossing of the season in April. You remember another famous crossing in April.
I do, yes.
And there were a lot of Titanic fans on the boat.
Was it would have been 80 or so years before this?
Yes, but you know why April is the first time you can make the crossing? Because the North Atlantic is so choppy. It's difficult to cross.
Yeah.
In winter.
It's not like it gets better in April.
It doesn't, not much. Let me tell you that it was for a big ocean
I don't
liner.
like boats. I've been on occasion, but just that part of the story.
Yeah.
Makes me feel queasy.
So